Hey everyone, we're Chris and Sandy with the Customized Right Away Spotlight car enthusiasts who fuel the car community. And today, like we see on every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
We have Sam from Klean Exhibition with us today.
Thank you. And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So how are you doing today?
I'm good. Weather's been so down here in Myrtle Beach. I don't know if you've seen, we've got the forest fires that have been going on for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, because we've been concerned about that because we'll be covering Run to the Sun next week.
Yeah, we got a little bit of rain today, but it wasn't enough to stop. You know, I think they just said it was like 45% contained.
Oh, wow.
Get heavy winds coming in the next couple of days. So it's one of those things where, you know, we got to monitor it very closely.
Right. Yeah. And we understand that you had to make some tough decisions recently. Would you mind telling us about that?
So it was weighing heavy on me for a couple months. And one of those things where you have to put family first and mental health overall and stress. And we weren't seeing the return that we were putting out as far as not monetary, but as far as what we do as people, as enthusiasts, is trying to get the community together. The support wasn't there like it used to be. I've been watching the scene. I pay attention to what happens on social media, other events, you know, just not just in this location, but all up and down the East Coast and the West Coast as well.
Yeah.
And there's just been a decline in event activities in some of the type of events that we do, competing with other show events, other hosts, competing with certain days, venues. It's always a headache. And for me, we've already got so many other projects established that the car show scene for us, or the car shows, was at the bottom of the totem pole when we weighed everything together and we were, okay, A through Z, what's important. And every time we put the car show in, it got moved down, and something kept moving down. And finally it was to the point, it was like, do I want to continue having this headache? Or, you know, we're promoting, we're putting all this work in, we're marketing, advertising, flyers, you know, investing the money, getting the venues, making the phone calls, you know, having my team come out and not waste time, but because they always just put them in those situations. And it was one of those things where it had to be done. It just had to be done. So we decided to go ahead and cancel the whole show season as far as what Klean was doing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Klean Exhibition, better said. So we went ahead and we posted it. You know, we've got good feedback, and we've got, you know, people are always going to complain. Doesn't matter what you do, good or bad, they're going to complain. So we ended the season with that. You know, I still had one event venue that I just can't give up, which is hometown Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
We live here. So, you know, we posted up that we're doing the hangout, and the hangout is just one of those locations where the vibe is just so good. You just go there to hang out with your friends and, you know, walk Broadway at the beach, you eat dinner, you eat lunch, and you stay overnight. So that we just continued to do that portion of it. But everything else, as far as me hosting events or Klean hosting events, we don't care for it at the moment.
Do you think you ever come back to that portion of it, or?
Yes and no. I love the automotive industry. I love everything automotive, from lifted to lowered, you know, static, tilty wheels, whatever. I love it all, and I love the people that compose the automotive industry. But it's one of those things that if you look at the last 5 to 10 years, there's been a decline on certain things. If you notice, let's use big box companies. These bigger vendors, they don't come out to events anymore. Why? Because they can go ahead and they can pay an influencer, and they can go on social media, and they can get the same drive on social media than they would if they came to an event. So those type of vendors are not paying top dollar to come out to an event.
Oh, wow.
So when you start factoring and you're chasing sponsors and you're chasing vendors and you want the high dollar people, there's been a decline on that. Of course, you pay attention to SEMA. You see there's a lot of big names that have dropped out of SEMA in the last couple of years as well. So all that is a trickle effect. It starts coming down. It affects even, you know, us, which is the smaller guys. I always say this, the car show scene is fantastic. It doesn't matter if you do, you know, the Cars and Coffee or local meets like we do here, or you do big scale. But there's one portion that everybody misses. the automotive car shows is just about 1% of the automotive industry.
Huh.
It is the
Oh, wow.
smallest percentage of the automotive industry. So when you start looking at it that way and you start looking at the bigger picture, there's so much more involved in the automotive industry. So for me and for my team, it's moving on to the next level. When I first started Klean Exhibition and we were hosting shows, I always said it when I got on stage, you know, there's a 4 to 5 year limit. The 4 years came up and we seemed to decline. There is no need to stress over it and lose my mind, and then my hair is thinning already. There's no sense in going ahead and moving forward when there's other things beyond the horizon that we can chase after, that we're actually working in at the moment.
So where do you think, over the next 5-10 years, where do you think the car community is going if shows are slowing down?
There'll be one of those, like everything. There'll be a decline, and then someone or some company will come in and reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
and it'll start right back up. We've seen it, several times. There'll be an event company just like myself. The first 2 years we were, man, just riding high, and then it declined. It happens to everybody. It's just knowing how to build back up and looking what's the next move, what's the next step. For me, I look at it like this, and this is without offending anybody in the car show industry. Yeah. This is just my personal opinion. The car show scene and the car shows is pennies in the industry. Mm-hmm. If I drop a can of pennies, how many people are going to pick them up? If I drop a bucket of hundreds, are you going to chase the hundreds?
Yeah.
For me at the moment, I want to chase the hundreds. I want to go where the dollars is, and the people who run the automotive industry. We're talking about people who are involved with SEMA, the bigger builds, McGuire's, those type of industries is where I want to be and put myself in. Because at the end of the day, those companies is what generates the revenue for all of us to be able to host these car shows. So I just got to squeeze myself into that.
Do you want to be a builder, or is that?
It's hard to say, because I fit in so many places. Right now, currently, I work a full-time job during the day. I work for a local shop here called FBK Off-Road. I work in their sales department, and we build really cool stuff, from lifted vehicles to lowered, and it's good to be a part of something like that, because you can see the process of beginning. Customer brings it in and drops, boatload of money, and either it comes out and it's fully lifted, wheels, tires, you name it. And if not, we had a customer the other day came in, brought a beautiful C10, and my guys went and cut it up and did some C notches on it and put it on the floor. So it's great to be involved on that aspect of the industry, and being part of either helping customize the build or covering the social media. We just did a build for Jeep Jam last week as well. So was also a part of that. So just all those little things for me in the industry, I can slide myself in anywhere and be able to find a new niche, basically. There's a lot. I've got a lot going on in the next couple months, which is fantastic. And it keeps me busy. People ask me, how do you do it? And I don't even know. I don't know.
So let's go back a little bit. Tell us how you got started within this industry.
So, long story short, somehow I was always involved in the industry. I come from up north, originally from Connecticut, and I was always in car shows. I was always either hosting something, local meets. I was also in the bike clubs. So always in something automotive or motorsports, just always. Trickling down here, when I moved down here, I was in the motorcycle thing, because obviously Myrtle Beach is big on bikes.
Yeah.
And, we decided we were going to become vendors. And we decided we were going to start this tire shine company. And we were vendors for another company for a long time. And we decided to break off on our own and just be vendors and see how that led up. So we just started to figure out on how to make our own tire shine, which we did. And for many years, I was known as Sam the Tire Shine Man.
Oh, wow.
We had one of the best tire shines in the market. So that's how we got involved. We were vendors with every show you can think of, we've done. which when Nopi was popular, we were at Nopi. You know, we've done Slammed Enough, Tuner Evolution, Import Evolution, you know, Elite Tuner, all these great shows. We were always a part of them from the beginning. And I had a great opportunity to work with Tuner Evolution, which is another automotive brand. And I got to give them credit because I learned so much from them. They taught me the ropes on how to manage events, how to work the events, how to work the event, how to grow the industry. Even though we kind of broke off in not so good terms, I still give them love and I give them credit because I'm here where I am now because of them, you know. And it's always good to still reflect back, even though it was sometimes good, sometimes bad. But I learned a lot from them to put me in the position where I am now, where that, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna throw my towel in the ring, and I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna duke it out with the big guys. And you know, after we did Klean Society, which Klean Society is our merch, Klean Society is products, media.
Oh yeah, okay.
So that's where Klean comes in, and we're like, all right, we're gonna do car shows now, and we did Klean Exhibition. We kept it clean, and did Klean Exhibition. We decided we were gonna open up a garage, which ended up being my storage / podcast / audio / you name it. And this is where I'm at now, is at Klean Garage. Everything just stayed with the name Klean. So my vision has always been Klean is to be a household name, regardless if you're wearing my t-shirt, regardless if you're buying my tire shine or any chemicals that we used to do, things like that. You know, if you come here and we do a build for you, if you follow me and you're at the other shop and we help you out with a build, like all that comes in what Klean is. It's not just the name. It's Sam invested into the name Klean.
The lifestyle.
Yeah.
So you doing the Klean stuff, I'm sure you've gotten a lot of hate because when cars don't qualify to be in your show, people get mad, don't they? Because I've seen comments.
So I used to be really big on that. Like, you know, you want the best in your show.
Yeah.
Of course.
Especially when you're limited.
When you're limited, you want the best in your show. And then as time went by, the keyword is mature. You start maturing and you start noticing that you have to give opportunity to these new builders.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't know what's right or how to build a vehicle, or they might get influence from somebody else that has a similar vehicle to build theirs. So then it became where I stopped being a very big critic on what I was accepting and looked at the overall platform. I'm like, okay, I see where this individual is going. He needs an extra push. Let me give him an opportunity so he can come into the show and see what the other guys are doing and learn from them so they can build a proper vehicle. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it didn't. Because you always get that, you know, 2 or 3 people. Oh, you let the guy, he had bacon fenders. He didn't have 3 wheels. He didn't have this. He didn't have that. You know, not everybody has money to drop $20,000 every season to build their car. Sometimes you build a car and you spend 5 or 6 seasons with the same paint or the same wrap or the same wheels. You know, I mean, I don't even have 3-piece wheels. I sold mine. I've got some regular $200 wheels on my car, and I'm happy as can be with them. You know, it's one of those things where it's what makes you happy at this point.
Mark had a question for you.
Seems like the mini trucks in the early 2000s tuner style is very popular on social media. In fact, the old style Nopi has a show planned this year. Do you think the older scene will gain any traction? So I was talking to one of my guys the other day about this, and we seen Nopi try to come back down in Atlanta. The problem with a lot of the older guys is we live full-time lives, full-time work, you know, family, businesses. Sometimes to get away, even for a weekend to do an event, you got to plan months in advance.
Right.
Do I see it coming back? It's always been here. I don't think it's ever left. Look at
Mini Nats.
Look at Mini Nats. Mini Nats grows every single year, more and more and more, to the point where he's had to be selective on who he lets.
Because I think their limit is 700.
And they get what, maybe 3,000 that show up.
And the cool thing is, yeah, that show we haven't been, but I got a lot of friends that have mini trucks and all that, and they're like, "Whoa, I didn't get accepted, but I'll be there."
So, you look at events like that. Look at C10 Revival, huge, old school. Run to the Sun, again,
which we'll be there next week.
Hopefully we'll get to see you guys as well because we're down here at the beach. So I don't think the scene has ever died. I think it just, again, every so many years, it fluctuates. It changes. I mean, I've got guys here locally, great friends of mine, that they're building mini trucks, and they're taking, a year in the body shop getting painted, a year getting their wheels built, doing their interior, because when it comes out, it's a best of show build. There's so many ways of building. Old school, you got to take your time because you just can't get parts overnight.
Yeah.
New style. I can go right now. I go to Airlift, Viair. I can order whatever I need. I can put it on bags. I can slap a rock on it. I can do some audio, and 30 days later, I've got a ride and it looks good. My old school mini truckers, my low rider guys, think about it. They do a whole frame off build. Powder coat everything. They etch it, they chrome. It's not a 1-2 build. My last show,
those type look really cool. Those type are really awesome too, because anytime I post video that I caught of the old 90s style classic lowrider truck, it's like I'll add the Sir Mix-a-Lot song to it, and my God, it goes viral.
So I just did a show recently down in Florence, and I had one of my buddies bring his I wanted him to bring his truck, and no engine, just started, C-notch bags, the whole nine. And one of the reasons I wanted him to bring it was I wanted individuals to see the beginning platform of what a great build is going to be.
Yeah.
Taking the body off, taking the bed off, taking the engine off, powder coating, painting, doing the bags, doing the whole nine, so people can see the process when it comes to doing a build of that caliber. It's not a weekend thing. It's a 6 months to a year thing, sometimes even more, depending on if you have to source parts, if you have to do this, you always get hiccups. It's one of those things where I think that if more people were involved in what it really takes to do a full build and do it on a budget. Let's not talk about big companies who have sponsors, that can build a car in 30 days and have it for SEMA.
Yeah, that's different.
That's different. Let's talk about a guy who works 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday, and sometimes even Sunday, and he has a full family, he has bills, and every week he takes out $5, $10, $20. He puts them in his little bucket, and he bought a new alternator, he bought a new starter, and he's building it. A build like that is going to take 6-7 years.
Like I remember when I was 18, I was broke as could be. And I remember I was big into the lowrider stuff, and I just bought a brand new Mitsubishi truck, 1990 Mitsubishi truck.
Yeah, Mighty Max.
And I think the truck was maybe a few days old. I'm not sure, but we took the springs off, sawed, and then we'd throw the springs on the ground so it'd snap. And we had our own lowrider there,
Every car I've ever owned, it literally would leave the dealer, or I would buy it from the customer and take it home. The first thing we do is we cut the springs. Cut the springs immediately. And then after that, we throw some audio in it, and you were cool.
I had 412s in the bed.
I come from an era where my dad would, every week he'd have a different car. We would go to this park in Connecticut. It was called Colt Park. And he'd pull up, and it'd be him and all his friends, and it'd just be hundreds of people. And this would be at a park.
Yeah.
Every Saturday or Sunday, it'd be hundreds of people. You open up the truck, you pull out your cooler, you play your speakers. You could have had the best car there. You could have had a best of show, and you could have had a car that was on primer. You could have had a car that was falling apart and was rust bucket. And everybody was having a fantastic time.
Yeah.
I wish that we can go back to there where there is no judgment on what you drive. Yeah. There is no judgment on how you dress. There is no judgment on the potential of what your vehicle can be. I just would like it to be where everybody is together and like, hey, let's break bread. Let's You bring the beer, I bring the pizza, hot dogs, hamburgers, and let's just have an overall fantastic time. And I think I've been watching a lot of social media, and I've been seeing a lot of events turning into those types where they're gatherings and they're just having a great time, and they're forgetting about the trophies. They're forgetting about there's got to be a cost involved, and they're just having an overall great time.
Love that. Yeah, that's like what I hate, and I always have to correct some of my buddies on this. You know, us as car enthusiasts, we're kind of the outcast of the world. But what I call the outcasts of the outcasts is squatted truck people. And I get so mad at my friends who rag on that, because I'm like, we need, I'm like, you don't have to like the build.
So I had a friend of mine here yesterday. He's actually one of the founders and old owners of Myrtle Beach Truck Week. His name is Manny, good friend of mine. He was actually here at the shop. We were talking yesterday. And last show they did at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center, I remember I was walking in and there had to be a couple hundred trucks. This thing was There was a squatted truck outside, and I tell this story to everybody. There was a squatted truck outside, and I pulled up to it and I looked at it, and I looked at the attention to detail. I didn't look at the squat. I looked at the attention to detail.
Exactly.
This vehicle was a best of show vehicle.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Interior, audio, lighting, suspension. Well, half the suspension, everything was done perfectly, except he had a squat. Me looking at the attention to detail, I said I would give it best of show. Would they hate me? Absolutely. I could hear it 20 years from now. Sam gave a best of show to a squatted truck. Different genres.
Exactly.
Early 50s, the gassers. What were the gassers? Were squatted vehicles, weren't they?
And like I tell some of my buddies too, I'm like, something that people forget is those of us that love cars want this to continue the next generation and next generation. And most of the young people now, that's what they love. Like when in my day, it was the lowrider truck.
Yeah.
Today, and people hated on that back then. And today, it's the squatted. And I tell people, if you push them away from the industry, then they're not going to teach the next generation after them.
No. So what's funny is in the truck scene, the squatted it's what's frowned upon. In the tuner world, it's what they call the tilty wheel, which is a vehicle that has massive camber in the back and the wheels are tucked in. But it's cool. Everybody has a different taste. I've seen squatted trucks right on the road, and I'm like, oh man, it's a squatted truck. And I've seen the tilty wheels right on the road. I'm like, oh, it's a car with massive camber on it. It's. I look at it like this: you eat a bowl of cereal. Right? After you eat it so much, you might get tired of it and you want something new. That's how the industry is. After you've seen it and you've ate it for so much, to evolve, you want to get something new, and that's what literally is happening now. It's this newer generation is building very different from what the old school lowrider mini truck guys were building, even though that is a very still popular culture. And there's guys still building that. I mean, if you look at it, I've seen newer cars that are being built to look like the old mini truck style.
Yeah.
Graphics in the interior, the tweed in the inside, and the colorful graphics. And I can see that coming back, just like,
oh, wow.
I saw there was a post the other day. I don't remember what page it was, but there was a kid who's building a Honda Civic, and he was building it like back in the days, early 2000 Fast and Furious, your buddy club kit, the white wheels and the graphics on the side. It's one of those things where you see those generations kind of coming back.
Yeah.
It's going to be on rotation, and then that'll disappear and something else will come on, and that'll disappear and something else will come on. And it's just, this is what people need to see.
Exactly. You know what? I wish the law would compromise on this. I wish they would make it to where it's legal, but you have to have airbags. I think that would be a good compromise.
We've gotten customers that have come in and they've wanted to squat, and what they do is they do what they call the helper bags, and they add the air suspension in the rear, so that way they can air up,
lift up when they need.
Oh yeah.
There's always those gray areas that people find. But if you look at this, a 1990 Honda Civic, which is a tuner, right? It's a classic car now.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Wild. And if you look at 1980 Honda Accord, it's an antique car. So you go to a car show and they register as an antique, people are going to frown upon it. But if you look at it, we're talking about true judging, you're talking about age. It's an antique is a classic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those, even though this Honda Civic may have, tucked engine bay, paint, wheels, body kit, the whole 9 yards, you look at it by year, it's a classic car.
Yep.
People are now, if we really look at it, we're doing it the way it's supposed to be by the book.
I like that.
I can go right now and pull probably 10 Honda Civics that I know of that would compete in having a best classic award. And then the old school guys are going to hate me for the rest of their lives because they wouldn't win based on
a lot of people, they see the glory and because so many people want to do their own car shows and they see the glory in what you do, but they don't see the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles it takes. And I think that side needs to be talked about. So tell us a little bit about that side of it.
Being broke. Let's start. And I'm gonna be, this is not a something that I've hidden. I've gone public. This was with this several times. When I was on top, it was great. There was money coming in. It was one of those things where it was fantastic. When we failed, we were broke. People didn't get paid. Events got canceled. I had 2 of my cars repoed because there was no funds coming in. Relying just solely on the car shows, it's impossible because it fluctuates. It's like the stock market. You wake up today and AMC is, $10 up, and you wake up tomorrow and AMC is $7 down. You have a loss. Money is always an issue, and it'll always be an issue in the car show scene because I've gotten to the point right now where this is how I see it. The same cars I'm going to see at show A on Saturday, I'm going to see in show B next Saturday.
Yeah.
So you're paying for that. Same thing with the vendors. The vendors that are going to be here that day, they're going to be at the show the next day. 9 times out of 10, the same enthusiasts are the ones that are going to be there. So then I look at, let's look at the merchandise. If you didn't buy from me, if you bought from me this week, Saturday, you're not going to buy from me the following week because 9 times out of 10, I'm going to have the same merchandise left over.
Yeah,
now you
that
invested this money in either being a vendor or doing the show, and people are not buying because they already bought from you. Then you look at the cost of venues. When I started in early 2020, affordable venue, $12,500.
Wow.
That good venue. Same venue today is $27,000 before you even walk in the door. Big difference.
So just to break even.
So
then security and all that.
Yeah.
You're paying 25 grand before you walk into the door. Then you've got your EMT, you've got your fire marshal, you've got your permit. You're $30,000 in the hole between marketing and everything. You better pray that you get 300 cars to register to help you cover that that venue. And then after that, you better pray you get 2,000 or 3,000 people to walk through the door. And if you don't, you're screwed. Then you're negative. So what you do is you try to have one event float another and kind of rob Peter to pay Paul until you come up at the end of the season. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen. That's why there's a lot of event companies who are doing 20, 15, 10 events. Because you got to pray if this one doesn't do good, that this one does good, so it can help fund the other one and keep it rotating like that. And then at the end of the season, you really see if it was worth your investment. A lot of people, this is how I see it. If I'm a vendor and I'm going to a show, it's costing me $500 to be there, right? Then I got to spend $300 in travel if I got to get a hotel or gas. So now I'm at $800. It's $800. Now I've got to do about $2,000 in merch, right? So now I'm at $2,500 to $2,700 before I even get to the show. If the show doesn't produce good and I only made $400 in merchandise, I'm negative.
Yeah.
I didn't make money. Some people were like, "Oh yeah, I went to the show and we made $1,000." Did you really make $1,000?
Did you
Right.
profit
Did
$1,000?
you profit?
$1,000. Did you, time is money. And I
Yeah.
guess as the older you get, you start realizing how important time is in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every little thing you do, you lose time. And if there's money involved in it, you're going to lose money. So I'm at that point in my life and in this season and moving forward that everything has to make sense for us. Regardless if it's a dime, a penny, a nickel, a quarter, or 100, it has to make sense.
Yeah.
Just because we came out of a season that we lost so much. We lost friends, we lost family, we lost, merchandise, just everything. And for us, it's like you have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
So what do? You start over, you start fresh, and you start a rebrand. And that's, people frown about it. Oh, you got to redo this. But how many big box companies do we know that rebranded and sold and restarted? And
A lot. And
that's
then
the
they
problem.
become big.
This is my biggest pet peeve with the automotive industry, and especially with the car shows. You make one mistake, and you're shunned forever.
Wow.
Wow.
That's it. Your support is gone. Nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody cares for you. That's it. We're cutting you off. But how many times a big company, and let's use McDonald's for an example, how many times McDonald's doesn't like your burger?
Yeah.
You still go back next week and you support them and you spend money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same thing with, you buy a box of eggs, which are what, $10 right now. And as much as you criticize it and you hate it, you still got to eat it and you go. So I think if there was one thing for me that I would love to change is how everything operates in the support system. Like, everybody has to fail in life because failure builds success. You have to fail.
Yeah.
Nobody can ever be on top forever. Nobody. It's just unheard of. You have to fail to learn. You learn from your mistakes, and for us, we went in and it was like a rocket.
Yeah.
Right timing.
And then, we ran out of gas, just like a car. And when you don't have people helping you fuel, that's it. You stay stuck. And that's what happened with us. It got to the point where just people are like, we don't want to go there. We're going to go here because something else came out, or, there's this going on, or we have 2 shows the same week. And that's a big thing in the automotive industry. They'll book a show on a Saturday. And even though you've been promoting it, they'll come and they'll slap a show the same day, 30 minutes down the road. So now you have to compete with the vendors. Which vendor is going to come to your show? Which car is going to come to your show? Well, if this person doesn't come, he's going to tell his buddies not to come. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's in the truck scene, if into the tuner scene, if it's in the classic scene. It doesn't matter. You're going to go where your buddies are going to go.
Yep. Always have been that way.
It's always been like that. And for me, I don't want to struggle. I don't want to chase anybody. I don't want to have to beg anybody to come support or come hang out. If you want to be, and I'm taking Klean out of it. If you want to support Sam and Sam's family, and you want to be there, and you really want to have a good time and just come and hang out, then fantastic. I don't want to be that guy that's going to be in your inbox and be like, hey, you're coming to my show. Hey, I still get those from like, hey, Sam, when are you going to come out and support us? I'm like, have you came and supported me in the last year? Not that I want to be that guy, but unfortunately, I've had to put my foot down just because I've always been that type of guy, not to gatekeep from anybody.
Yeah.
But that also bit me because me helping a lot of people put me in a situation where you end up losing, because then they're like, oh, well, I don't need you no more. We can do this on our own, and kick you to the side and call it a day.
A lot of people, they see you, but they don't see the team around you. In our opinion, no team gets any love. But on our show, teams always get love. So it doesn't matter if it's a team of one or a team of a bunch.
Look,
a team is a team. So tell us a little bit about your team.
So my current team, it's always been the same team that's been here. They haven't gone, regardless if we made $10,000 or we made $10. These guys will come out in the cold. They were here for Florence. It was 25 degrees that morning, and they were out there helping and set up.
Wow.
These guys, it's not about money, and it's never been about money. It's been about, we want to see Klean, and we want to see Sam, and we want to see the family grow, and we want to grow together. This team I have now is, let's come to the shop and let's order pizza. Let's break bread. Let's whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And my team is all split. I've got guys in Charlotte, I've got guys in Charleston, I've got guys in Hickory, I've got guys here in Myrtle Beach. So it's my guys in Myrtle Beach it's always fun because like I said, we're all local and we see each other all the time. So we'll get together at the shop and we'll just kick it and just have a great time, or we'll message each other. I've got two guys in Charleston, which those are two of my right-hand men. They handle all the crazy stress the day of and make sure I don't try to kill anybody. And then one of my models, which is Baby Ray, she became family after a year into the show. And she comes and she stays at the house with her husband, and we hang out and we have dinner, and we love the industry, we love the automotive industry, we all have our own individual lives, but at the same time, it's the family, and regardless of what you're doing, if it's a car show, I mean, you can be building a wall, and if you have the right people around you, that's all that matters. You can make a buck or you can make a penny, but if we're all known how to be happy with what we've done, then you're going to move forward. And that's where we're at now. It's like I message my guys, I'm like, hey, I have this plan. They're like, okay, just let me know, we'll be there. You tell me if I can, what I need to do. And I always tell them, hey, if you're not obligated. Nobody is obligated to be a part of something. Nobody. And I tell my guys, if you don't want to come, that's fine. If you can come and you want to hang out, that's fantastic. I've learned to where I've noticed how people will gravitate towards you because they see success.
Yeah.
And then, they're attached to you because you're successful, and doesn't matter, either your business, your events, your merchandise, you can own a game, whatever the case may be. People will gravitate towards you. And then when you're not doing so well, those people
leave.
Yeah. So we've seen right now who's been here for us for this is our 10-year anniversary. Klean itself, Klean Society, is 10 years in April. And it's always the same people who've been there that have seen me cry, that have seen me not have food in my house. I've been to that point where you open the fridge and I'm like, oh, it's rice and eggs today, or spaghetti and meatball. Been there. It's how you come out of it is where you're at. We've been very blessed this season to where we've gotten some great opportunities to work with other companies that are in the automotive industry that are producing certain things, and we're a part of on the back end. We're the guys who are assisting of putting everything together. So when this project comes out, we are the ones who assisted with this project. I also got casted twice for a TV show.
Oh, wow.
I'm not going to mention names yet, but I posted a little snippet the other day, and some people caught on to it, some people didn't. The second time that I'll be filming for a show, which that's also going to help elevate myself and my team and my brand to go on to a next level of what we want to do.
Yeah.
Again, the car show scene is just but 1% of the automotive industry. There's so much other stuff that goes on, and for us, it's like, we're just going to keep moving forward.
Yep.
Keep moving forward.
Speaking of teams, we have a third co-host, our 13-year-old, that comes on and asks a couple questions. So Sandy's going to go get him.
Absolutely.
And while we wait for that, where do you want to go over the next 5 years? What would be that vision?
What would be that vision? Remember the Knights of the Shining Armor, the round table?
Yeah.
That. I want to be the guy sitting at the round table that is making the decisions of what is going to happen where and when. I want to be that guy to not necessarily have to be in the spotlight, but is making those decisions that is going to determine how a business or a brand or an event is going to run, logistically, financially, merchandise wise. I see myself in that position because I'm already working in that position.
Yeah.
So I can see that already growing and escalating, just because that's where the automotive industry is. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be automotive. There's always a bigger picture. and I always drop that hint because, if people pay attention, they'll be like, okay, I see where he's going with this. Where we started with the Be Better Project. The Be Better Project is a podcast just about everything, especially mental health. Mental health is one of those things, especially with men. I kind of feel like a lot of us who own businesses or are
Yeah.
part of the industry, we're stubborn. We don't
Yeah,
talk.
we are.
So I want to open up a platform where we can openly talk about the day's ins and outs of either, running a business and, financial struggles, dealing with your family, just all that in one. I think it needs to happen so other people like myself that are in the industry can say, hey, you know what, this group of guys, they're all going through the same stuff we are. I want to be a part of that because I feel like I can benefit from learning from these guys who've already been there. They've done it. They've done the struggle, and now they're trying to help us be better.
And none of us talk. I think that's the problem is we talk, we BS with each other, but we don't talk about the serious stuff.
No. And I've got a group right now that, one by one, we'll talk on the phone or we'll message each other. And we've been opening up, and we've noticed like, wow, man, we really got all this in common. And it sucks that we don't talk about it. So we want to be able to say, hey, come on down, we'll welcome you with open arms, and let's talk about it. Get it out of your chest. Let the people know, like, it's okay to fail. Yeah. It's okay not to be successful. It's okay for your business for one day not to make, $10,000. Like, it's okay. It happens to everybody. You can't be scared of it. Can't be scared of it.
And it's okay to have a rough season.
It's okay to have a rough season. It's okay. Don't knock yourself because you didn't reach that goal. Work harder, grind, stay motivated. And these are things that I have to continue to tell myself on a daily basis. I wake up sometimes and I am miserable. I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, it's good. And I got to remind myself, hey, I'm going to work. I got to have a good attitude. I got to meet the customers. I got to make sure that I'm presentable for the company I work for and presentable as for myself and for my company. It all is a trickle effect. So, being able to be a part of a platform like that and opening it up to people and having people know, like, again, it's okay to fail. It is okay.
Love that.
All right. Hey, Sam. So what's your favorite car?
Thanks, man. So what you got?
What's your favorite car?
Oh, what's my favorite car? Oh my God. This is going to be the Puerto Rican in me. So those who know me personally already know what I'm going to say. I love a Suzuki Samurai with a 13B rotary swapped engine in it. That's just the Puerto Rican in me. It's my favorite car. It's one of those things where at some point in my life, I am gonna own a Suzuki Samurai. It's just something about it. I grew up on the island, so I remember seeing them just up and down the road, and I still see them when I go to Puerto Rico. So that for me, it's the Suzuki Samurai.
Have you seen that Geo Tracker Pro Street?
So I got a couple of guys that got some really dope Geo Trackers here locally. I've got a guy in Puerto Rico who's got one. They just did a swap on it. It's man, they're just wonderful. I just love it
because there was one I videoed that got 12 million views.
The orange one.
That orange one.
So I remember hearing from Nopi. That's a very old iconic build. He would come to Nopi all the time. I remember meeting him at Nopi when Nopi Nationals came to Myrtle Beach. Again, look at the amount of work he's got in it.
Yeah.
So fantastic.
Definitely a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's yours?
All right, my favorite car is a 1970 Corvette with a big engine on it.
Was a big blower engine on it?
Yeah.
You got to see my Florence show that one of my guys videoed the other day. We had an old man. This thing, as soon as he pulled up to the parking lot, everybody turned their heads. He's got this big blower coming out and chopping down the street. I love all types of vehicles. Vehicles that are going to make you turn your heads, things that don't normally come out. It's great to have that.
So that's why I named the brand the Customized Rod, because I didn't want to be locked down to anything specific.
Yeah, sometimes, man, I've driven down the road and I'm like, oh, look at that. So
we do that all the time.
Yeah. I do it all the time. It's no matter.
This is how I see it. Being a true enthusiast, you have to learn to love everything. You have to put your feelings aside and look at the bigger picture of the work and craftsmanship, that goes into a build. Old school, classic guys, muscle guys, some of them will look at a tuner and be like, they don't see the amount of work that some of these guys have put in. I mean, I've got friends that have got Honda Civics that are doing, 8 seconds and a quarter mile.
Oh, wow.
On a Honda. That's a lot of work. Just like some of my guys, again, back to the tilty wheels. It takes a lot of work to get those wheels to tuck in, talk about wheels this wide to tuck in a little hole. This like it takes. So I think that if a lot of people stopped looking at the build and started pay attention to the craftsmanship and the work that has to be done to get to that level,
Yeah.
there's a lot in common with the old builders and the new builders. Fabrication
Exactly.
goes into it, the time that goes into it, the research, all that is still the same. It's just a different build. It's just a different platform. I think if they started paying attention and looking at it like that and saying, hey, you know what, man, there's a lot of time in that vehicle. Let me go ask him, how did he get the suspension to do this? And, you know, it all factors into that communication and the love and passion for the industry.
And it would be boring if everybody's vehicles look the same.
That is a very, very true statement.
Because I mean, can you imagine? I mean, we can get that with just regular cars. All the cars look alike.
So then that's why they call it a Walmart parking lot, because everything's the same, you know. And unfortunately, there are certain events that are like that. It's an all Mopar event. They all look the same. You know, they've got an old all Corvette event. They all look the same. You know, they're all stock. Even with some of the Jeeps frown on some of the guys who do the crazy audio builds in the back with the big wheels and the big tire. Again, I wish people would just be happy with what they have and let somebody build because they want to build. Like, I've even caught myself where I'm like, oh, why did he do that? But then I remember, well, you know, that's what he wants to do. I mean, I drive a Kia Soul. Who builds a Kia Soul? Like, people are like, man, I can't believe you're doing a Kia Soul. Like, I love my Kia Soul. It's my daily driver. It's great on gas, and it's mine. Like, it is what it is. So it comes down to really having the love and the passion in the industry for what you do.
Yep.
All right, I got one more question. So what's the most fun part of doing a car show?
The most fun part? The people. Seeing friends that I haven't seen in a long time. The networking with the people, just having the interaction. I love my Myrtle Beach show because I get a lot of my friends from Florida that I don't see maybe once or twice a year. They come up and they hang out and we have a great time. That for me, the automotive industry has always been about the people, because the people is what makes the car shows. You know, the cars and the people. Without that, you don't have anything. So for me, it's always going to be about the people. It's always going to be about the interaction with the people and how much time we can spend with them. Because again,
you know Brett Michaels?
What was that?
So you know Brett Michaels in Myrtle Beach?
I've heard of him, never met him personally. I know a couple people that know him.
We met him we actually met him. What's funny is we met him last year. We were at one of the meets after the Jack's Wax meet during the Run to the Sun. Yep. And we were there, and this squatted SUV pulls up, and some people jumped out the truck. And I told him, I was like, that kind of looks like the crew that would be Brett Michaels, because we knew he's from there. Yeah. And I looked, and I was like, one of the guys kind of looks like Brett. And then all of a sudden I heard one of the guys say, hey, Brett. So I walked up to that guy and said, is that Brett Michael? Says, yes, it is. So we met him. He's totally different than what he is online.
So I heard this because I have a friend who knows him personally, and it's a smart kid.
Yeah, he is.
He's a very smart kid. He took what people hate the most and he made it work for him, and he profits off of it.
Yep. They get so mad and they don't realize they're making them money.
Every time someone comments, every time someone shares, every time someone retweets or whatever, he's making money. So he's a smart kid. He took a platform that is already rising, and he used all the hate they have for him or for the vehicles, and he used it to his benefit, and he's good.
Yeah.
So what do they say? Hate the player, not the game. Kids are genius, and there's a lot of them like that are capitalizing off the social media platform. You know, I said this the other day. I said on one of my other podcasts is, you know, if social media died today, how many people would actually survive? How many businesses would actually survive?
Most businesses wouldn't now.
They wouldn't. I come from an era where, you know, you go outside and you hand out flyers and you invite people to come to the show. You invite people to come to your business. you hand out business cards, you shake hands, you kiss babies. Now it's everything social media. Like, I mean, look at where we're at now.
Yep, and it's so, and I think it's not just that. I think that even people who did that years ago, they would still fail because we're so ingrained with the social media that if it shut off now, granted, if it slowed down over the next 5-6 years and then went away, we'd be fine. But if it just shut down overnight,
that's it. It'd be the death of a lot of people. You gotta, TJ Hunt, Adam LZ, Dustin Williams, Drift Games, all these big brand companies, it's all social media. They've got a team that just record. That's all they do is record, all day long, 24 hours a day, and just recording and uploading. And DDE, Day Driven Exotics. These people record every single day and drop a video every single day. The amount of work that takes.
I've posted 10,000 videos in 2 years.
It's insane. It's insane. That's the amount of work that you have to put in. Yes. After a while, what happens? You get burnt out.
Yep. That like past couple of days, I've not done as much as I usually do. I've done I need to take a small break, but then probably next few days I'll be back. But need that little break. And then we also just went through where our car messed up, so we had to get a newer car and all that. And so we're like, everything come at once.
This is what I posted this the other day too, and I talk about it all the time. 90% of social media isn't real. Mm-hmm. It's a lie. People posting in these poses and these pictures and all this stuff to gain the following, to gain the clout, to gain the followers, and to make the money. And then at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, they're miserable.
Yeah.
They're putting so much work and effort into this social media platform, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's one of those things that I personally, if I would have jumped on this 10 years ago, I think I would have been at another level in the social media aspect. And
the problem is once you grow, it gets, I always thought, we got 400,000 followers between all the whole brand. Mm-hmm. I always thought the bigger you get, the easier it will get. And it's actually the harder it gets. And it's like, why is this not? And because I'm learning that because a lot of these platforms, when you get to a certain point, they want to see new blood. So they're pushing the smaller accounts more than the bigger. I'm like, well, what
content? It's again, content creation is one of those things where it's every day. Like I tell myself every day, I got to create content. And then I look at it, I was like, man, I'm so busy. Like, when do I have time to turn the phone on? And, I keep saying to myself, when on the drive to work, I just, turn the phone on and just record a thing and, snip it on CapCut and, upload it. But then I'm like, man, sometimes you don't even want to drive to work. Sometimes you just leave me alone. So it's one of those things where it's also draining because let's take away the automotive side of the industry and we're in the social media side. That is just as much draining as building a vehicle and having a deadline. Because now, if you're sponsored by a company, mm-hmm. they need their content.
Yep.
Now you're on a deadline, like, hey, you've got 24 hours and I need you to have this video done, edited, and uploaded for us. How about if you get sick? You've got the flu, you've got COVID, you've got kids, you've got family, you've got full-time job. So now you got to do like I do, or you come to the shop at 9, 10 o'clock at night to record content, to go home, sit down, edit it, be up till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. So that way, first thing in the morning at 9 a.m., you have something to post. Those are things people don't see.
Yep.
People don't see that. Again, I leave work, I go home, come to my shop, I spend 2 hours filming, I spend another hour editing, 2 hours editing, and then you'd get a 30-second clip for the morning.
And when you're talking about people don't see that, you're so right, because so many times you see on Facebook, the older generation will always say, and when I say older, I guess my age and above, in the 50s and above, they always say these social media people are just lazy. They didn't get a real job. And I'm like, do their job for 1 month.
You know what? I used to be like that. I used to say, and I hate that I said it, when gaming became really popular, mm-hmm. and people are getting paid to play video games. I remember I made a post like, oh, I can't believe you're getting paid to play video games. And then I look at it, I'm like, these guys have so much money invested in monitors and equipment and their computers and whatever it is that they do, and the time they do to set up to get ready to sit there and play for 6 hours until even know if they're good, and I'm like, what a crazy platform to be invested in. And then you're like, wow, it really takes up so much time to do it. And it's the same thing, even, what we're doing. Like now you're going to sit there and probably, I'm fully recording on my end. So I'm going to cut and edit, snip a bunch of this stuff, and I'll have reels for the next week. It takes time for everything we do. And going back to, time is money. And when it comes to that, it's precious. So do what you can today so you can live today and benefit from it tomorrow.
The great part of all this, though, the social media has been the game changer for the average person.
Absolutely.
The average person who always wanted to do something, whether it's in cars, whether it's photography, whether it doesn't matter what business they're around, social media has made it to where it's a level playing field now.
So there's this guy that I follow because I love food and I love stuff about cooking. And all he does is show his hands. He's got black gloves on and he has his camera set up, and all he's doing is chopping.
Oh, wow.
Chopping and this guy's got like 3 million followers, and all he's doing is chopping food up. And I'm like, this dude is making a killing just by chopping food. It's like there's this guy, he lives in Greenville, South Carolina, and he's got the Labrador Retriever. He's all over TikTok, and he's made a living off his dog. And the kooky antics that they do with the dog, again, like you said, you can be at home. You can be a mom who dances all day long in front of the kitchen. You can be the guy who works at a factory and is just mopping, and people like, the way you mop. There's the guy who cleans the windows, and he's just there cleaning the windows. He became famous off of that. So social media has made it to where literally anybody can be famous, which is good. And it's also
bad at the same time.
Because
it's harder.
It's harder. Then you've got people who really have natural born talent that deserve the opportunity and don't get the follows and don't get the likes, and they struggle to raise their bar in their platform. And unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't happen like that, because even myself, I ask myself, I'm like, man, I've got like 5 people just watch my stuff. And then there's days that I post, and when I posted that I wasn't doing any more shows, that right there had over 2,000 views on my stories. And I'm like, any other day, any other thing I post would have 100 to 200. That had the most shares. Why? Because people were like, oh man, no more shows. Yay. You get the mixed results. And social media is good and bad because it can benefit you and it can hurt you. Just simple as that.
I love that. So as we close out here, what advice would you give that person that wants to do what you do?
That's a good question. Just be true to yourself. Be true to yourself, regardless of whatever you're doing. If you're going to open up a cookie shop, if you're going to do in the automotive industry, limit yourself on what you think you can do. Don't go out there and be gung-ho like I did. I went in there gung-ho and I peaked out, and it hurt me. It hurt me, it hurt my family, it hurt a lot of my friends. Pace yourself. Rome wasn't built in a day. Take your time. Do it once and do it right. Just because you can go back and make corrections when you take your time. When you rush into everything and it's already there, it's like building a car. You've done it real quick and you forgot to wire the harness the way it's supposed to be, and you're going to go to turn it over and it doesn't work. Guess what? You're back to ground zero. So if you start from the beginning and you're going to do it right, dot your I's, cross your T's, check every single box, read the fine print on everything you do. And, don't give up, don't get frustrated. Like I said, I've got friends who own very successful businesses that have a bad week, have a bad month, have a bad year. Don't give up. Just, figure out what you did wrong or figure out what's wrong at that moment and start over and keep going. The moment you quit, that's when you fail. Just because you failed for that one time, but you kept going, eventually you're going to succeed. I come from a sales background. You're going to get 10 no's and one yes, and that one yes is going to pay off for those other no's. So you just got to look at it like that.
Yep. And I guess I kind of flipped the two questions backwards. What I normally do. So I guess I got one more question. I just happened to remember the question I usually do right before that one is, let's say that you're 20 years down the road, you are success on a grand scale, whatever that looks like for you. You feel like you've made it. What do you hope you never forget along that journey?
The people who got me there, good or bad, the people who got me there, because everything in life is based on a door that opens. You know, sometimes you walk through a bad door, but that door opened up another door. And those people who've been in my life, again, good or bad, have got me to where I am now, to be more mature on how I handle things, on how I handle business, on how I see the industry overall. And when I mean industry, I'm not just saying automotive. I'm saying everything in general. You know, like I said before, you know, you look at AMC, it went up, you know, 10, 12 bucks and it dropped down 3. So you learn to pay attention, you know. And if 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, it doesn't matter, you know, where it is. And I always will be grateful for everybody who's been involved in anything Klean has ever done. Because good or bad, I'm still here and we're still going to keep going.
Love that. So tell everybody how they can find you.
Easy. Social media, Instagram, Sam_Klean Exhibition. Our Instagram, our Klean Exhibition Instagram is just Klean Exhibition. YouTube, Klean Exhibition. If you're on Facebook, Klean Society, Klean Exhibition, or Klean Garage, you can look at all those on our website, kleanexhibition.com. I'm an open book. You know, you can message me 9 times out of 10. I'm going to respond. If I don't, it's because I'm extremely busy, but at some point I will get back to you. I'm always up for conversation. You know, advice. Like I said, I'm not a gatekeeper, as much as it hurts me not wanting to, but you know, I'm always there to extend a hand. And, you know, I'm all about collaborating with other people in good benefits. And I'm hoping to talk to more of you guys and see you guys, and hopefully see you guys when you come to Myrtle Beach.
Yes, he's from Myrtle Beach.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so we'll look you up definitely when we get there. Well,
Yeah,
I'll message you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
So it was great having you on the show, and you're welcome to come back anytime.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to doing this again.
All right.
All right, guys.